Championship Wrestling. Gene Kelly with you on this one more night of exciting wrestling action. TV's most exciting sports hour, and certainly that's only magnified by the two men with me tonight. And I can't help but this remind me of that big middle of August date coming up right here in San Antonio, Hemisphere Arena, where incidentally this man to my left has been one of the first to sign a contract. He is the world heavyweight champion, Nick Bockwinkel, and he is signed to wrestle that very night. I want to remind you those tickets you can write for him at Southwest Championship Wrestling, 1704 Blanco Road in San Antonio, Texas. Zip it 78212. They're $15 for golden ringside souvenir tickets, $10 for general admission. Ladies and gentlemen, a great pleasure to be here with me, the world's heavyweight champion, Nick Bockwinkel. Nick?
I can only say that promotion has done its homework, done its job well, because they've had to come up with a lot of money, and they are trying, I'm sure, to bring the people in this part of Texas the biggest card, the biggest wrestling sensation for the entire year and maybe the decade. Because you have me, and I am the world's heavyweight champion. It starts at the top. And to have Mil Mascaras as the challenger, Mascaras, you got to be number one. Otherwise, the championship committee would not have picked you. And I will do everything that I can. I may be even a little bit devious, cunning, and a little bit shrewd, and a little bit nasty, if I must, to keep the heavyweight championship.
Nick, you are certainly aware that the special referee flown in for this event, as a matter of fact, in the middle of August, will be six-time world heavyweight champion himself, Lou Thesz.
This only adds to the importance and the impetus of the whole affair.
Of course it does, Lou.
Well, you know, I've observed Mil Mascaras and also Nick Bockwinkel, two great athletes. But at the present time, I think perhaps Mascaras is maybe in a little better condition. I know Nick Bockwinkel has been run ragged all over the country, all over the world, as a matter of fact. And there comes a time and a place when titles change hands, and I've seen this several times in my life. I've been up and down the road with the title myself a couple times. And, Nick, you've got a terrific battle on your hands. And I saw this man wrestle in Mexico years ago, and I was impressed then. I predicted then he would be a champion, and that very well may come to pass.
Mil Mascaras, what do you think?
I sure hope not. I sure intend not. And maybe on this passing, he's going to have a little bit of extra guts and nastiness.
Nick Bockwinkel, I promise you right now, the man is the world's champion. When you see him wrestle, you know why. And you can see him wrestle right here in San Antonio, Texas, in the middle of August, at our Hemisphere Arena. Again, if you'd like those tickets. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much, Nick, Lou. And to get the tickets, if you want to sit in the golden ringside souvenir area, $15, $10 for general admission. You send it to Southwest Championship Wrestling, 1704 Blanco Road, zip it 78212. Lou, hey, yeah, Nick Bockwinkel the ring against... This young man has only been around a very short time, and I got to tell you right now that he wants to make his presence known, obviously, Lou, or he would not have signed this contract. Young Tom Pritchard.
Yes, well, Tom has his hands full tonight. Nick is a seasoned veteran. He's been around the horn, and he's seen a lot of ups and downs and pitfalls. And as I say, the young man has a large evening cut out for him.
I would suspect that the six-time world champion hit it right on the nose, as he usually does when it comes to this fantastic sport and the manly art of wrestling. Nick Bockwinkel and young Tom Pritchard. Well, perhaps it is that Nicholas didn't expect a tremendous amount of resistance to this young man, but I can assure you from his past performances, he's going to get it, Lou.
Here's a side headlock that was made famous by Ed Stranger Lewis. Nick has the power to use it. This young man, Pritchard, that is wrestling, however, has a great deal of strength himself. He's coming in with an overhead wrist lock now.
Big top wrist, and he's going... Oop, oop.
Beautiful judo leg trip and takedown, yes, with the overhead wrist lock.
Nick Bockwinkel and young Tom Pritchard, the world champ. Tell you what, Pritchard shows as much promise as any young wrestler I've seen in a long while. As a matter of fact, look at that beautiful move. Pritchard back up on his feet.
Beautiful nip up, yes. That's a very difficult move to make. It takes a lot of conditioning and timing to do it.
Bockwinkel, how long has Bockwinkel been wrestling, Lou? Has he been around for a little while?
Yes, he has. I wrestled his father years ago, and when I was an amateur. Bockwinkel's been a professional probably for 18 years or so, and he's done very well in the professional ranks. As a matter of fact, he is the champion now for AWA. Made a very good account of himself, and he's really learned his craft well.
All right. Hammerlock. Tom Pritchard on Bockwinkel. Drives it home with that big knee, Lou. That's got to hurt.
Yeah, reversed it. It was sort of a wrist lock, hammer lock, and Tom Pritchard reversed it. Did a very, very fine job. This young man has a lot of aptitude for wrestling.
He very does, because he was a young athlete before he got into the sport of wrestling, before he chose this as his profession, and he is doing so well. Third man of the ring. Look at him over.
Now, Bockwinkel going for a flying mare. Let's see if it works. It may or may not. This young man has a lot of power.
Anybody can make it work with Bockwinkel. He's up. I'm telling you about this middle of August match, Lou, which, of course, you are the special referee for, and I can't think of him I'd rather have.
Well, I've been watching Masters for a number of years, Gene, and I've been on several wrestling cards with him. I've watched him, observed him very carefully. And he's really a wrestling student, and it's very seldom that a fellow has the interest to learn as well as he has. He knows his craft so well now. As I said earlier in our interview, this could very well be the time that Nick Bockwinkel will lose his championship, because as a champion, they run a fellow ragged up and down the road, and if he's just a little bit too tired, and Mill is on that night, that's it.
Well, Miller, of course, has the ability, as everybody around the wrestling circle and the wrestling world knows. He is a tough one. I mean, he is a strong one. And it's kind of like standing out in front of a trade bane, but if anybody could do that, it would be Nick Bockwinkel, who wrestles all over the world. And I agree that what was said to me earlier, this middle of August thing coming into Southwest Championship Wrestling could be one of the largest wrestling events of the year, possibly the decade. It's going to be a big one.
Go behind, waist takedown. Well, Tom Pritchard has just proven to all of us that he has a fine wrestling background. Stuff for the champion to hold him down.
Young Tom Pritchard, I think possibly that Nick was not quite so ready for Pritchard to be so gung-ho, as they say in our neck of the woods. He's ready. Big top wrist.
Well, Pritchard does some really easy free sit-outs, and it's difficult to hold a man in that position. Overhead wrist lock. Really hang on to it, Gene. The young man has a lot of intestinal fortitude.
A lot of intestinal fortitude, a lot of strength, and a lot of ability. Tom Pritchard and the world's champion, Nick Bockwinkel, in the ring. Southwest Championship Wrestling. And we come into your city at this same time every week on the same channel. Hope you make it happen. If you're in Southwest Texas, South Texas to be more descriptive, certainly I hope you make yourself available for that big middle of August match at our Hemisphere Arena. It's going to be a Jim Dandy. Big leg scissor. Bockwinkel got legs on him like a lumberjack.
Yes, he has, and it's a very good head scissor. This young man, Pritchard, is using sort of a neck stretcher right now. It's a sit-up version of a crooked head scissor.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's got to make you wonder if you pick the right profession or not. Looks like he's going to try to drive him home. Right at this point, young Tom Pritchard is in difficulty. I've seen a man, for a man of his age, Lou, undergo some very painful situations. Beautiful move on the part of Pritchard. Beautiful move on the part of Bockwinkel. Big head scissor.
Bockwinkel's an accomplished wrestler, but this young man has, as I said earlier, an aptitude for wrestling, and he picks it up like a sponge. He's trying to injure his neck here with that crooked head scissor move.
Juan Reynosa, third man of the ring, looking it over. Checking with young Tom Pritchard, see if he wants to give it up for the evening. No, I can't imagine that happening. But again, at this point, I hope he doesn't get dizzy upside down, because he's in heck of a fix at this particular point in the clutches of the world champion, Bockwinkel. Beautiful move, Lou.
Yes, yes. Very, very good. The young man is doing a very good job, making a good account of himself.
Man, doing color with me tonight, six-time world champion. When he tells you something about wrestling, you can put it in the bank, Lou Thesz. Honored to have you here again, Lou. Oh, big elbow. Kaboom, big smash.
Man, he lays him in there.
Putting it on young Tom Pritchard, Bockwinkel is. Full shoulder. I see blood on the forehead of Bockwinkel, though. Pritchard has managed to bring first blood. Arm swing all the way across the ring under the turnbuckle. Forearm smash. Guarantee. Big flying drop kick. Tries again and misses. misses. Tom Pritchard misses. Landed right on his head. Bockwinkel, being the athlete who takes advantage, drives this home with a big atomic drop. Big atomic, my gracious, and it's over, Lou.
That was a real pile driver. Did it not? Bockwinkel's an old cool head. It's pretty tough to beat a fellow like that.
Took advantage of him in a second. Nick Bockwinkel, the winner of our first match of the evening over young here on Southwest Championship Wrestling. We'll return with more of the action in just a moment after these words.